All right.
Booth space.
Yeah, big wide open booth. 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to the SideQuest, where we talk video games. I also went into the voice that I used for like 18 other podcasts, so maybe I'd better stop. I'm Dolly Domovsky, gonna talk games, which are cool stuffs. I'm joined by Sam Dixon.
Hello, friends.
And Aaron Scratty Bones Kelly.
Hey, what's up?
Not a lot. We are going to talk games. We're going to have a fun evening. You gentlemen ready for a fun evening?
Yeah.
Good. I like to hear that.
I am ready for that.
I will say this. Aaron is pretty much a badass right now with his brand new screen, setting things up in his streamings, the Stream Zone. Give us a cool background.
Yeah, I mean, I can kill two birds with one stone here. I haven't played anything except for this poker game on Steam since last time we did a podcast, which is
what poker? Like poker night at the?
No, it's a multiplayer game called Prominence Poker.
Okay,
and it's just poker. Like that's it's got cosmetic microtransactions, but it's just poker. I've just been playing poker. That's all I've been doing.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know. I got hungry for it, and so I've just been playing it. That's it.
That's all, huh?
Yeah, I've had God of War, which is I bought it like day of release, and I haven't even installed it yet. I really gotta. I'm
in the same boat. I did install it. I'll get into what I've been playing a little bit. I did install God of War, and that's as far as I got. And the installation, but yesterday finally installed God of War. The reason it took so long was I was trying to finish Wolfenstein, the Old Blood, which took up a ton of gigs, as well as a bunch of other games which I had kind of sitting around. So I was playing through and deleting games like crazy over the last like 2 weeks, older games. I will say Wolfenstein, the Old Blood is fantastic and got me hyped up for playing Wolfenstein 2. Is it Wolfenstein or Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein.
So playing that sequel, I'll play it on the Switcheroo because I can actually get access to the TV. Yeah, the visuals aren't the best, but it seemed to play okay at PAX when I had my hands on it for a few minutes. But yeah, so there's that. I played a bunch of VR. I started playing the Rick and Morty game, the VR, which is actually kind of cool if you like the job simulator games. It just launched on PSVR, PS4, and it's pretty fun. What's that?
How is it on there, like control wise?
It's surprisingly good. Like they they definitely learned a lot from the original job simulator game, and now you can do some kind of better motion and warping and stuff with Rick and Morty. But it's just fun. I'm only a few hours into it, or like a couple hours into it, but it's Rick and Morty, and yeah, this is actually pretty good. I don't think it did very well on PCs. At least I didn't hear much about it. But so one of the things that Alchemy Labs and who publishes it, Adult Swim, were tweeting today was that it was the #1 downloaded game in April on PS4. So that's pretty good. So yeah, playing that, and then finally finished Adventure Pals. So that's good. That game is a lot of fun. It's very short. It's a Zelda 2 style game. I think I talked about it last time, but it's good. Been playing some more Nintendo Labo. We put together first of all, have either of you guys played Labo? Sam, I think you may have, right?
Yeah, I've put together. Let me see here. I've put together the ocean and the fishing rod.
Okay,
and then also the piano.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we did the bugs, obviously the sumo bugs, the fishing rod, and the
robot. Say robot.
Yeah, the robot. No, not yet. Although it's funny, it's because my daughter was. I've been doing this with my daughter, so we've been pacing ourselves and doing a little bit each night. And some of these are like 2-hour builds, or 45-minute builds, hour-and-a-half builds, because there's so many pieces. Nintendo does a really good job of doing stuff step by step, so you never feel like you're missing out on. Missing a step. You can actually rewind and fast forward pretty nicely. But as we're working through the motorcycle, which is what we're making now, my daughter says, "Dad, when are we getting? When does the robot come in?" I go, "What do you mean?" She says, "When does the robot pack come in?" I go, "Oh, I didn't order it because I wasn't sure if you were going to actually like the accessory pack." She goes, "No, we're getting that robot pack, so put that on the list." All right, so looks like we're gonna try out this ginormous robot pack next after we complete through these. But that
Did you,
fishing game, what's that?
I said, did you make the mistake of doing any of the builds without the software going alongside of it, and then you had to go back through and?
No. The early ones, which are very simple, which you just kind of fold things over. But I will say, Nintendo, whoever the paper guy is that they farmed this out to figure it out, it did an awesome job because all the cardboard just works. Like it'll ask you to fold something over like 6 times, and then the tabs just like perfectly clip into place, and you have this actually sturdy, part of a handlebar for the motorcycle, for instance. So yeah, it's surprisingly awesome in terms of that. Sam, how did you feel about the build quality of Labo?
Yeah, it's funny because like the first time you go to build one, you're being like super delicate. You're like, if I break this cardboard, like that's it. This whole toy doesn't work.
Yeah,
but by the time you're getting to the second one, you're like, oh, I could throw this down the stairs or like trample on it, and nothing's gonna happen to it. Now, of course, like if you have like a young kid that maybe doesn't know, like, hey, this is cardboard, like it is still kind of delicate. Like those toys are probably gonna be like completely cooked by like the first month or so. But so far, the only issue I've been having is since it's getting warmer, some of those IR stickers are like not sticking to the cardboard like too well. So like, yeah, some of the like twisty knobs on the piano, I have to like every time I pick it up, like just kind of push it back down. But it hasn't given me any issues like reading them or anything like that once you're actually playing with them. But yeah, they give you enough stuff. They give you a couple of like extra pieces here and there. And I've been told that you can print out like patterns on their website.
PDF, they've posted on there. But which while that's nice, it's hell you have to be a master at an X-Acto knife to cut that, and then to score the folds. And I definitely see them down the line. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if by sometime in the fall when school picks back up that they start releasing just cardboard packs without the game. Because I would rather buy extra cardboard packs than, I don't want to buy a full game, but I could see myself paying like, $15, $10-15 for, I just gave Nintendo a bunch of ideas for like the fishing rod, the fishing game. Give me like 10, I'll pay $9.99 or something for the build quality of that thing. If they just sell cardboard packs, and then maybe like $20 for the motorcycle or piano or something. I can see them definitely doing that kind of thing.
Do they use like a specially treated kind of cardboard or anything like that? Like you're not going to be able to do this with like just a cardboard box or something.
I'm not 100% sure. It is sort of a more compact. It's a thinner cardboard, so it's like it's a higher compression cardboard. Like it's thinner than a shipping box, but it's much sturdier. Like
it's almost like if you took like 3 cereal boxes and like just laid them out of sheets and then like taped them together or glued them together. Like it's definitely not corrugated cardboard, but it feels like secure. And I mean, some of them have like ridges in them already for like where they bend, and I wouldn't be worried about any of those like snapping or anything while you're trying to construct the stuff.
I think it'd be awesome if like I said, Nintendo sold those separately. If you're running out of, speaking of cereal boxes, if you absolutely need to reprint or reconstruct some of the cardboard, just use all those Super Mario cereal amiibo boxes that you've been saving and utilize those. But yeah, that fishing game is awesome. It's just so stupid, silly, easy. I am incredibly surprised at how that functions. So you build this fishing rod that extends, right? And the way they have it set up with the string that goes down into, so you have like, I'm going to use my phone as an example. So you have the string actually kind of goes behind the screen in the little stand there. And that stand really doesn't do anything except house the little rotator for the string. So as you're kind of pulling up and down on the rod, there's like a little bit of feedback or a little bit of force on the string that's behind the stand there. But that's all that stand. It's literally just a stand for the Switch screen. Everything is built into the rod, which uses 2 Joy-Cons. So depending on how you position and where you position that bottom Joy-Con, that gives you the height and the location, and then the winding with the other one. But
yeah,
really freaking awesome.
Yeah, that fishing like set is the perfect example of like all that kit is doing, like you could do without any of that cardboard.
Yep.
Like you could be rotating your hand like it's the reel and lifting it up and down for feedback, but it's just the fact that like, while you're building it, it's incredibly clever. The way that things like snap in, and first of all, that's the first time I've ever heard cardboard like satisfyingly snap into place.
Yes, right.
And it's so amazing. The first like couple times you hear it, you're like that, like it just
that shouldn't work.
Yeah, it's incredible. But but once you're building it, once you get it in, it's like it's that like extra step that makes that like fishing experience like worth participating in, is because you have like the weight of the reel. It has like some form of resistance when the fish is trying to get away from you, and you can make the thing shut up or make noise like a real fishing rod by just inserting this little piece of cardboard that the game even tells you like, hey, if this gets annoying, just take it out, like just forget about it.
We didn't even put that in there yet because we missed that part, so we're gonna have to give that a shot. But yeah, we saw that sitting over to the side, but I'm so surprised. It is. I've played fishing games on the Wii, and while it was fun for motion control stuff, it really didn't do much. This has been probably the most satisfying fishing game experience I've had on a home, at least on a Nintendo console, ever. And so, yeah, they've managed to pull it off, but it's very simple. You're like essentially just trying to catch the heaviest collection of fish. Whether it's a minnow or it's a stingray, it's up to you to try to catch. Like I think you get 3 fish to catch, and there's some other little challenges in there, but it's fun. It's totally satisfying, and I found myself just lying on the ground on the with the switch and the string connected and fishing for no reason whatsoever. So yeah, Labo, it's pretty cool. How's the piano?
Really cool. I didn't even know, because they have the discover mode in there. After like you're finished building stuff, it will like break down like, hey, this is how this is working, and then also like tell you stuff that like maybe you didn't point out while you were building it. So like the piano, if you like shake it while it plays, it like wobbles the sound and stuff, and there's like a bunch of different interactions that you can like learn to use like after you've just gotten the simple like, oh, I hit the keys and it reacts. I think the more important thing about Labo, though, is like we're just in the early days of that like creation kit. Essentially, I think it's called the like Labo Studio, where you can make your own like Labos built in. Like that kit with just like 2 like Joy-Cons, basically a switch in that. Like you're basically handing like an Arduino board to somebody. There's been a YouTube video where a kid like added motors to his wheelchair and then used the motorbike amiibo thing and somehow got the switch to tell those motors to drive his wheelchair. So then he's just been rolling around with his wheelchair using it like like a motorcycle. And that's like that. And that was done within like the first week.
Yeah.
Like and since how many, I think it's like 8 or 16 controllers the Switch can like recognize at one time.
I think 16. Yep.
Yeah. So like that, basically you have up to 16 different Joy-Cons being able to be used in these projects. And so, that's 8 IR blasters plus then 16 things with rumble in it. So you could, who knows what people will end up building. And the more kits they release, I think the more ideas and the more like crazier things we're going to see with Labo.
I'm really hopeful that they find a better way to share. Because right now you can't really share how Labo are, if I come up with something really cool, the only way I share it is through YouTube and painstakingly showing step by step the process of creating it.
Yeah, Dally.
What?
This is Nintendo we're talking about.
No, yes, correct. Yeah, I hope that there's an update later, down the line that maybe there's a way to do a QR code or something, I don't know, that shows a step by step. I think it could be.
Well, I'd like to see these controllers too being usable for other like Switch games. Like I'm sure there's somebody that wants to play Mario Kart using that motorbike setup. And Korg is coming out with a synthesizer for the Switch like they did for the DS. I don't see why that piano couldn't work on that synthesizer program.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, that would be freaking awesome. I could see a lot of I mean, they've already shown like a DJ utilizing the piano during a set, right? He had the audio plugged in out of there. So
Yeah.
I think that as folks realize that you could do this kind of stuff, I'm really curious to see if the if other developers do like little mini eShop games and stuff that allow you to print out or do your own. So I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think the creativity levels are going to be pretty high. I mean, if you could just share those things, I think that's pretty awesome. So we'll leave it at that with Labo. I think the LABO is going to be cool. It could be pretty cool going down the line if Nintendo actually supports it, and hopefully they will. Right around school time is when I think the fall is when I really think you'll see them maybe start to heat up some of their marketing. Let's see what else I've been playing. That's basically it. I've been Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Does that count? I've had a lot of late nights at the office, so I haven't had a chance to play too much stuff. Oh, I have played one thing, and it's horrible. So we're going to be retiring the Wii U from our main TV and just kind of putting it probably in storage, more than likely, or at least in the office up here where it's out of the way. And so I figured I'm going to go back in and play some of those Wii U games that are still in the wrapping that I never played. And so this weekend, I think I'm going to dive into a little bit of Star Fox, which I had never played. It's still in the, yeah, I know exactly. That's what I've heard. But I also, there's so many stinkers on the Wii U. There's so many fantastic games, but equally amount, maybe more stinkers. Mighty Number 9 decided to fire that up yesterday because I think I bought it for like a whole $6 or $7 at Best Buy.
Yeah,
it is. Woo. Wow, there is nothing in that game. That is a generic game, and it doesn't even control very well. It's basically the original developer of Mega Man made a sort of Mega Man knockoff because there was no Mega Man game being made, and suffered through development hell because the game was perpetually late. And when it was finally released, it just did not live up to what it should.
Don't forget, you're brushing over some of the best parts of that.
What's that?
Well, they funded the game through Kickstarter,
yes.
And then halfway through development or so, they started another Kickstarter for an associated but entirely unrelated anime project, which never got made. And then after all that, they came out with this.
And some of the physical rewards, didn't some of those like never get shipped? They had some physical rewards for people or something. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, whatever. I can't even exchange it anywhere for like anything more than like a couple pennies. So I feel it costs me more to drive over and buy it from Best Buy. So maybe that's why I'm so upset at myself. So yeah, that's a stinker. Other than that, that's basically it. I don't think I've been playing anything else in the last couple weeks here. What about you, Sam? Besides Labo, what have you been playing?
Surprisingly, a lot of stuff, but not for very long.
Okay.
All very short stuff. I just had to check to make sure I could talk about a couple of things. First off, the thing I've been probably playing the most, and I would like to be finished with by now. Not because it's not great, but so I've been playing Solo, which was one of the games.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That we talked about at PAX, and it came out April 26th. I was going to try to do a review of it. So that's the game that's about like
Han Solo in his younger years, and
if only way more colorful than that. It's about relationships and like discovering like what relationships mean to you, and like questioning like what you like, how your relationship and your view of your relationship affects your partner, and how like their view could skew yours, stuff like that. Great game. I want to say I'm about halfway through it. However, I'm stuck on one puzzle, and when I say stuck, I mean I've loaded this thing up about 20 times and have probably spent 4 hours trying to get past this one thing. And I want to say the game's bugged, but I don't. And like I've gone back. I've like gone to see if there's more to do, and there's not. And so I have no idea what's going on. And I want to say that like the game is somehow using it as being like, oh, sometimes like relationships are work, and there's no like defined answer and stuff like that. But I'm waiting for the game to tell me that, I guess, and it has become incredibly frustrating. So I'm trying to finish that. and write a review about it. But I may break up with the game before
Oh wow! Okay.
I learned about my relationship with it, because it's been a very abusive relationship so far. And I'd like to move on. Other than that, though, I got sent a whole bunch of stuff from PAX, like right after PAX. So I've been like trying to come to terms with a lot of that stuff. So like you just sent me the Trailblazers code yesterday, which is a fun, like almost co-op racer, where you have to paint the track your color, and if you're on that section of track, like you go faster.
It's like a Splatoon but racing style game.
Kinda. There are some races that are defined by how many points you get, as opposed to who gets in first place, and points are awarded by how much paint is on the track, like how successful your teammates were at using the paint on the track, and then what position you were in, all kind of skews your points. Tried to play a couple games online this morning and yesterday, or last night, with it. No luck so far.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Big old zeros so far with people online. But you can play 4-player co-op, which should be fun. Haven't had a chance to try it. And there is a campaign story that teaches you the mechanics and stuff like that. And that's been fun so far. But I feel like to really get the most out of that game, you want to play with other people, since it's about like working together and finding great success. The next one, which there's like thousands of people playing it on Twitch, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it's okay for me to talk about. And that's a closed alpha for a game. It's called closed alpha, but you could sign up for it and they sent you codes for a game called Death Garden.
Oh yeah. Okay, we've been getting a lot of emails for that.
Yeah, it's one of these. I'm not sure how many people are on the one team, but it's one of those like 5v1, 4v1.
Okay.
I think it might be 6v1, where these 6 people have to run around the map and capture these 2 of 3 nodes, which then opens the exit for them. And they have to do that before this hunter, who looks exactly like a Destiny Titan. And the guns even kind of feel like Destiny guns. He has to hunt them down, and I think it's outright kill one of them or down 3 of them before they're able to escape to win. So the hunter, which is the one that's trying to do the murdering, he has different guns. He has a couple of abilities that you can choose between. Like you could put up placement turrets, or like a melee AoE thing. And then the survivors, they have weapons, but they can only use those weapons to like tag other locations for of upgrades or health, or more bolts for the other survivors, or like they occasionally can upgrade to the point where they'll get abilities like I can now slow the hunter, or I can mark the hunter so we can all actively see him for 30 seconds and stuff like that. So it's a lot of support abilities, where the hunters is a lot of murder abilities. Only played like a couple of matches. But I will say I only lost once as the hunter, and I have to assume it's because like 4 of the players were on voice chat together, because there's no way that they could have moved together that synchronously. And I only won 1 game as the survivors, and I have to think that that's because our hunter had no idea what he was doing, because I stood right in front of him for a good 20 seconds and he didn't do anything to me. So I don't know, those games, and this is why you do alphas for those types of games, is it's a lot of like balancing things between like what is a good idea and what is a bad idea, and what's going to make people want to get 6 friends or 7 friends or whatever makes a full game, and trade off between who's the hunter and who's the survivors and stuff like that. And I just don't know that game has really found that identity for itself yet. It looks really stylized. It looks like a weird combo between Destiny and Absolver. And I'm super into that, but right now the gameplay is just not ready. And again, that's why you do alphas like this. It's to get that type of feedback. It's to get eyes in front of it and get it in the players' hands and see where they might want to take it.
Okay. So all these are on Steam that you're playing.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, it's certainly the season right now. It's like definitely a calm before the storm, and we'll get into some news here in a second. But There's a lot of like PC-based games are now starting to fill up the void. Usually April and May are packed to the gills with stuff. I mean, last year, obviously, we had the Switch and a few things coming out then. But, 2K is always pretty good with Rockstar pushing things out. And there always seemed to be something during April and May. And there really wasn't this year besides God of War. And I think Detroit comes out in a couple weeks as well. But
I'm looking forward to that. I don't care what anybody says.
You are looking forward to that?
Yeah.
I think I am as well. If I can get through, Detroit, or if I can get through God of War, at least far enough along with it. That demo was pretty cool with the Alexa integration. But yeah, so there isn't a whole ton coming out between now and E3 time frame, but we're gonna get into E3 right now because there have been some leaks. Let's just say, thanks to Walmart, good old Walmart Canada. So news.
We did it, you guys.
News. Canada did something. Good old Walmart Canada posted or I think even up until recently, up until like an hour or so ago, had a bunch of games listed in their coming soon pre-order section that hadn't been announced yet. Games like Gears of War 5, Borderlands 3, Forza, the next Forza Horizon game, Just Cause 4, a new Splinter Cell game, Rage 2, Dragon Quest Builders 2, and there was even a listing for like Final Fantasy VII Remake, which we know won't be coming anytime soon. The Assassin's Creed, which maybe it's a remake, who knows? Beyond Good and Evil 2, Destiny Comet, whatever that is. Dreams, obviously we knew of that. But yeah, really kind of interesting that all these and yeah, I mentioned the Division 2, but all these leaked, right? So whether Walmart had the okay to do it, at least list them up on their site, who knows? Or maybe it's just a rogue employee that went ahead and did it. You never know. But Bethesda acknowledged at least the Rage.
Yeah, that's I forgot about that.
Yeah, so they tweeted from the official Rage account to Walmart Canada, said, "Hey, Walmart Canada, here are a few," with the Rage account, which has been dead forever, said, "Here are a few notes," and they did an edit of the Xbox One box of the game, which just is black and has Rage 2 on it. And it says incorrect key art, wrong font, not all caps, missing age rating, and is the Rage Anarchy logo on there. So and then of course the Bethesda account replied back to the Rage account with "dude," which was pretty funny.
Yeah. The correction of the box art is the Rage account's picture now.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, their whole freaking if you go to their Twitter, which is at Rage Game, I mean, they've utilized that as their Twitter background as well. So God bless them. Looks like we're going to be getting Rage 2. But what that does essentially is that it legitimizes. By legitimizing Rage 2, it's essentially legitimized all the rest of those games, or the majority of the rest of those games on that list. So, I mean, a lot of people were expecting a Division 2 announcement and Borderlands 3. So, yeah, it's pretty funny that this has sort of been revealed. But the Splinter Cell, I'm excited about that. But yeah, always gotta love retailers for ruining things, ruining surprises.
I love that it like started out as one of those leaks that could be like, oh, this could just be like them getting stuff in the back ends, like sort of known quantities. But then it's Bethesda that really kind of pulled the trigger and was like, nope, this is confirmation of all of them existing for sure. Like, like nice. Like, thank you, Bethesda.
Oh, it's great. It is great. Moving on. Some really interesting news as well. Valve is going to soon let you stream Steam games to phones and tablets, which is pretty awesome for those of us who I've used the what's the Steam Link on my TV like a couple times, but being able to do it on my phone would actually be pretty badass. So if I could do that on my tablet around the house, I'd be pretty excited. So yeah, there's going to be a free app that will be, I think, available starting the week of May 21st. That It'll even link up to a controller, a lot of different Bluetooth controllers. So yeah, you'll be able to play your Steam games on your smartphone, on your iPhone X and iPads and anything, any Google phones and stuff. So
I have an iPhone 4.
oh, nice. Maybe you are out of luck.
Yeah, I can't even run HQ Trivia on my phone.
Oh, geez. Why would you want to run HE Trivia? But yeah.
Well, not anymore, but
yeah. Anyway, this is an interesting thing. Hopefully, you know, it's early precursor to Steam having their own, you know, a way to actually play these games without having to stream them. But whatever. It's a good start. It's a nice added thing for folks who don't want to plug into a TV. If you have just a laptop floating or a tablet floating around, and your desktop is in another portion of the house, could be kind of interesting.
It kind of explains why they were giving those away for like $1 last month.
Oh God, yeah. I got mine for free, actually. I think it was given away for free for something, so who knows. What's kind of interesting is another thing based on sales and gaming and market. The PS, so EA had their investor call. I think it was late last week at some point, and the numbers for console sales were sort of slipped in that they said that the PS4, Xbox One market stands at around 103 million total, Microsoft and Sony at the end of 2017. Sony reported 73 million PS4 consoles sold by the end of 2017, which basically leaves less than 30 for Xbox. So Sony is more than doubling with the Xbox, which is pretty astounding. I mean, they were basically neck and neck. I know the PS3 actually ended up selling a little bit more than the Xbox 360, but they were neck and neck during that previous generation. But to see such a disparity this time, and apparently the calendar year between 2017 really only sold like 5 million Xbox Ones, which would be that's the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. So that's kind of a crazy low amount of consoles being sold for Microsoft. If these numbers, I'm looking at our friends at Ars Technica right now. This is based off of an EA investor call. So it's kind of interesting to figure out what Microsoft's going to do, especially with E3 coming up here in a couple weeks, or 3 weeks, I think, or so. 4 weeks? No, it's 4 weeks.
I really, I'm so curious to know if Microsoft is fine with those numbers. Because remember right around, I think it was last E3 actually, on one of the giant bomb shows, it was Phil Spencer, I think, was talking about how like they were fine with this being a luxury product and they were selling the amount that they were going to sell, and they knew it was expensive, but that was fine, and blah 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 blah. Like, it really makes me wonder if they're actually fine with how things are going for Xbox as a whole right now. Yeah,
I'm in that same boat. I'm starting to wonder that if the Xbox One X is actually selling, if it's holding its own weight, because it is a much more expensive premium console, and is it dividing up their market? Is it causing a lot of confusion, which it might be? I mean, the PS4 Pro, I actually don't even see the PS4 Pro, the PlayStation 4 Pro in stores very much. I see the PlayStation 4. Maybe that could mean that they're selling out. I don't know, but that price difference is pretty big. The $399 for the Pro versus the Xbox One X. So, it can't be that good if they've only sold 5 million. Dude, that was like, I think that's what the Wii U sold in its first year, was like 5 million consoles, and look what happened there. So if they're on their 5 million binge right now, it's going to be kind of interesting. I mean, they're putting a lot of their eggs in the mixer.
I'll tell you this much right now: if I wanted to, I could go buy an Xbox One X for $480 Canadian.
Oh wow! Okay.
Which is 373 American. Just from people who bought them, like that'd be buying it secondhand, quote unquote. But that's people who bought them, and then just there's nothing for it, so they're like, I gotta get rid of this. I gotta get some money back.
It's still on Best Buy's website here in the States at $500, $499.99.
I feel like every couple of days I see like Wario or somebody post a deal about like, oh, get a controller and some new game and an Xbox One X for like $480 or $500 just straight up. So like clearly, if they're not making moves to sell it, retailers are. And I wonder if there was shelf space that they want allocated for other things, and that X is just kind of stinking it up right now.
It might be. What was kind of interesting is I walked into a local Best Buy recently, and they had cleared out. They've really kind of gotten rid of the Amiibo section, which is kind of odd because Nintendo actually sold quite a few Amiibo. I guess last year their Amiibo sales grew in over the year. I mean, I think a lot of that is just attributed to folks buying Amiibo with the Switch, but their sales went up over the previous year. So they're clearing a lot of that out and expanding sort of this LABO section and the Switch section, but the Xbox section hasn't. I don't know. Maybe it's shrinking. Who knows? But yeah, it's taking up a lot of space and it's not selling as much as they'd like it to. So we'll see. I think E3 is going to be super important. Obviously, exclusives sell consoles. Get in on this. Dolly Demovsky's just talking about Amigos.
Do you think any of the big three are gonna pull the old "and it's out now" move that is so common to E3s?
I think so. I think.
You think Anthem?
No, Anthem is still. I think March 2019 for Anthem. But that Code Vein game, I guess, is rumored to come out in early July, which is like a month after E3, and that's the. Isn't that like the Xbox Dark Souls-ish type of game?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's anime Dark Souls. That's what
anime
it is.
Dark Souls. Yeah, dark anime. Go ahead.
I was going to say I had a fever dream one night thinking that Smash Brothers was going to be announced and released the same day, but that seems like crazy talk.
No, that's crazy talk. Yeah, not without that online infrastructure. Oh, there's a bit of news. Nintendo finally revealed the details of their online service, which we've been
bringing the Nintendo Switch up to parity with the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Basically.
Don't go that far. More like the original Xbox.
Yeah.
But yeah, they finally have. It looks like they finally have a system for cloud saves. The prices are actually, I think the most expensive it gets is like $19.99. Is that what was it? The price for $24.99 or something?
The real question is that family plan. It's like $34 for 8 accounts. But what does that mean? Does that mean if I can buy one copy of a game and spread it to 8 different Switches or 8 different accounts on those Switches? Because that means that means a lot of sharing. I mean, it's been going on in the PlayStation platform since the PS3, and you can technically do it on the Xbox if you're smart about it. If this family plan is the way that they kind of like made it state in that thing, that's just them being totally cool with it, which I don't know is a great move for Nintendo, because think how many copies of not Animal Crossing, well, Animal Crossing Switch, but the new Pokemon for Switch. If you're going to allow a family to buy one copy of that game and then 3 children have the game, as opposed to selling 3 different copies of that game to people, like that seems not like a smart move.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah. So you're going to say, Aaron?
I was just going to say, and the other big thing, I guess the biggest thing to come out of that news was the 20 Nintendo Entertainment System games as opposed to the Super Nintendo games that I swear I remember them promising.
Enhanced Super Nintendo games was the original like pitch for that. Like they were going to have like Mario Kart from Super Nintendo, but that it was going to be online Mario Kart from Super Nintendo.
And now
I don't want to play that.
Hey, it's
Tom, you don't want to play anything with me. You're so mean.
No, I'll play.
Tom hasn't turned his Switch on in like 6 months, so it's
my girlfriend uses. My fiance uses my Switch constantly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But so the online is going to be real interesting. I mean, if anything, it's the start of a sort of Netflix style service for the Switch for old games, and I'm okay with that. Honestly, at this point, I don't need a separate branded virtual console type of thing. I'm fine with the games launching, but maybe if it's always nice to have a little notification or banner or something that says, "Hey, this is an older game." But
I can't wait for that service to launch and be broken for a week before they get their shit together.
I think you're being optimistic at a week.
Yeah.
Oh no,
especially with Smash Brothers, man. It may have to work for like a month before Smash Brothers starts.
Part of me feels like this online plan though is just like a slow like sort of waft out there to be like, hey, we have until September to change all this nonsense. Like, tell us how crazy this sounds. Does this sound crazy? Like,
well, there were already people sharing family accounts, getting ready to share family accounts on Reset.
Oh yeah, I've already got 4 people in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
you still need external shit for voice chat and all that stuff. Like that's not even included in their online plan.
Nope.
Now, 2 years after it comes out, they'll be like, you know what, we thought this through, and now you can only use the app on a PC. And this will fix all of our voice issues, and it'll be great.
Why the fuck can't I sync a Bluetooth headset to a device that has Bluetooth in it?
Oh, I don't know. You got to talk to Sony about that too.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's just
it'll.
I don't know. Nintendo, man.
Hey, you never know. They may. I mean, there's the rumors of another Switch version that locks out the Android. Was it the exploit for the chipset?
Yeah, whatever. You plug the hole's already there. They'll figure it out with whatever.
The hole's already there. God,
they did the legwork. Now they just need to adapt it to whatever they do next. It's like remember when Sony tried to stop people from hacking the PS3?
Oh god, everybody hacked that thing, and the PS2, and every time they released a PS2, there'd be a new hack of it.
Or how they kept trying to plug the holes in the DS firmware, and then people they just eventually gave up.
Yep. I remember I ended up using my DS with a lot of cool homebrew stuff. But
yeah,
we'll see what happens with the Switch Online service. Smash Brothers is the big game for it, I guess.
I want to run something by you guys, and I've been thinking about this for so long, and when they inevitably come out with the next console, and I'm not saying that it's in the works, I'm just saying when they do they call that thing the Switch and spell it like Wii with the 2 I's in the middle, because then it's a 2 and it's got the Wii in it.
That's horrible and yet brilliant at the same time.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that. I've been sitting on that for so long.
I'm just going to go around calling it the Switch for now.
Oh, God almighty. Tom, what have you been playing?
Frostpunk, that's about it.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's hard, and they make you feel really bad. It's a lot like that This War of Mine thing, where they're like, okay, so you're city building, but then like, okay, people are getting hurt while they're mining, which may or may not have child labor, which if you're me, does have child labor in the mines. It's like, oh, these children are getting injured in the mines. How are you going to handle the healthcare? Are you going to make it so you either prolong, sustain life? Yeah, there's the 2 options are sustain life, which is like, oh, you keep them alive as long as possible, even if they're dying and in pain, or you just do radical treatment, which is like, oh, they fucked up their leg, you chop the leg off, so now you have amputees walking around. And it's like, all right, so there's no good decision, and everyone's always going to be mad at you all the time because there are 2 meters. There's like a hope meter and a discontent meter. So no matter what you do, that discontent meter goes up. It's basically just a game of seeing how long I can go before my entire society collapses on itself.
How many?
We have a discontent meter for. Oh, there it is. It's backwards, but you got Switch.
Oh, it's backwards.
Yeah.
How many times?
There it is.
Have you beaten it yet?
What?
Have you beaten done a full run through?
Nah.
Because I had heard that the first 1 or 2 run throughs of that game are super good, and then you quickly realize that everything is static, like the events aren't random.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So I have also heard, I was listening to a podcast called 3 Moves Ahead, which is about RTS and strategy games, and they were saying they kind of advise you play this game as 1 run and then just leave it alone. Or come back way later. because once you realize how the systems work and that things are static, it kind of fucks the whole thing up.
You could just, I mean, I guess you could basically figure out the perfect run.
Yep. Like there are already people who are like, oh, you don't like just ignore these whole things on the tech tree and just do these because these are the ones that work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a bummer, but I really like the aesthetic is really cool. Like every night the snow comes in and like it piles up. And then every day when you send your workers out, they have to trudge through it. And there are cool little things like the first person in the thing moves a lot slower because they have to trudge through the snow. But once the footprints in the trail is there, other people could just like walk on through faster.
I watched a stream of it, and visually that game just looks incredible.
Yeah. I wish there was more to it than people are saying, because I'm going to be bummed out when I burn through it and then like that's it. But for what I'm at right now, I've spent like probably 6 hours with it. It's really cool.
Nice.
But that's been more or less it. Like I played some Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I still don't like Donkey Kong.
That's a fantastic game, though.
Yeah, I don't like Donkey Kong Country. I don't like any of those games. Like that style of platforming isn't my jam.
Now, what is your opinion on Funky Kong?
I think Funky Kong fucks. For real. Like he's like a cool.
He's Funky Kong.
He's got his wraparound sunglasses. He's got bandana. He's got jorts.
He's like
a cool uncle that'll buy you what is it? He'll buy you alcohol and like he also has weed if you really want it.
It's my boy Lanky Kong in there playing his trombone.
I hope so.
It's a sad one.
The music is really good though.
Cool. Yeah, Retro did a phenomenal job with that game the first time around. And I guess they actually worked on this version as well, so at least partly.
I also had to play some Conan Exiles on PS4 for work. That game still sucks.
Yeah, they've been pushing that. Over a million have been sold in early access.
It still sucks, and they took out the full nudity in the console version, so you don't see big dicks swinging everywhere. So there's really no reason to play it.
Yeah.
You still have a dick slider for endowment, but you can't toggle the thing to make it so you can see the dick.
It's a totally different endowment for the arts, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. So the dick size slider is still there, and it still functions in the same way. And you can see the loincloth like move a little bit when you do it, but that's about it.
Nice.
Also, that's the only the first Conan Exiles thing. Give you a little inside baseball. The first Conan Exiles video we made last year is the only video that I remember being demonetized in my entire time working here because we forgot to like do stuff with like, oh, we got to cover these dicks up. So we just put a video with a bunch of dicks out there and they're like, all right, we're taking the money from this.
And you're like, whatever.
We're going to make money on the porn, not you. Yeah.
Anything else, Tom?
Nah, that's about it. I'm looking forward to like State of Decay 2 is coming. Looking forward to that.
I really want to play the first one.
Yeah.
Can I can I ask a question? Because I have two Destiny players with us. Have either of you tried the expansion at all?
Nope.
No, but I installed it last night. I've heard some fucking rotten things.
I played the first mission, and I got through the entire first mission without picking up any new gear, using the exact same weapons I've used since like launch week of that game. And as soon as it kicked me back to the director, I just turned it off and went, "Yep, still Destiny."
Apparently, they added 3 strikes, 2 of which are just the last 2 missions of the campaign, but slightly harder with a boss modifier. One of which takes place on the original EDZ map from the base game.
Oof.
And there is 1 fully original strike, and it's exclusive to the PlayStation version.
Hey, Destiny players, do you want to run along this fucking ship again? And wow, that sun's real pretty or whatever the hell it is, but do you want to do that again? We'll make it harder. Come on now.
Is there any way to stop the fire that has become like Destiny?
No.
Like, that I've never seen a game go so negative so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
They need to make Comet good.
They burn their goodwill. Everybody was willing to believe all of the talk at the end of Destiny 1, but before Destiny 2, when they were talking a big game about how they learned all of these lessons, and then fucking Destiny 2
was a better game.
And then, yeah, they rolled it back so bad that there was more shit in Destiny 1 than there was in Destiny 2 when Destiny 2 launched.
But they did the opposite of the Division, which is like the Division had a absolute shit launch, and apparently now that game is great.
Yeah, apparently there's just
all sorts of wicked, like dope shit, and like now I'm really excited to see the Division 2 next month. Like that's something I'm really psyched to look at now, which I never thought I'd like. If you told me the first few months of launch, I'd be really pumped for the Division 2. I'd have told you fucking crazy. But now I'm like, oh yeah, because Ubisoft has gotten on this new tick of like really supporting like post release.
Yeah, Season 6 of For Honor coming out.
Yeah, they're going into.
That's gonna be a big topic of discussion at E3 as well.
They're going into year 3 of Rainbow Six Siege, which is still like has the craziest hardcore fan base.
Yeah, they released an expansion to the crew like a month before they announced the crew 2 last year.
Yeah, like their post release stuff is insane.
Well, their plan on Siege was like Siege came out and they had like what 12 characters or something like that.
Yeah,
and then they've just as they're doing seasons, they're just pushing out new what are they called operators in that game?
Yeah.
And their end goal is like 100 operators or something like that.
And it's not even like their palette swaps or minor differences. Like they all have like radical different strengths and weaknesses and play styles and all that stuff. It's crazy if they're putting that much effort into this game.
It's become a Counter-Strike MOBA effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I hated that game when it launched. I did not like that, but it's really cool now.
Yeah, there was that. I don't want to say negativity, but the people weren't super hyped on it at the beginning. But now it's
because they're all. Go on, sorry.
No, and now it's all over the place. I mean, there's that hardcore fan base seems to almost be growing, and it's as the word spreads, people get excited, more and more excited for Division 2.
We have like a fairly large Discord for work, and like the mods run game nights, and the Rainbow Six Siege one is always.
You guys were signing autographs, right? So that's why.
Yeah, that was weird. But the Rainbow Six Siege game night is always the most popular one. It's always the one that people are like jockeying for spots to get into.
It's going to be real interesting to see what happens with Splinter Cell if that rumor goes through. We'll talk more
about
Watch Dogs 3. Watch Dogs 3. So yeah, we'll get more into actual E3 predictions in maybe our next episode. We'll start with
I can't wait for that one. That's my favorite podcast of the year.
Me too. I think it's so favorite. And then our first podcast after E3 where we're just like way off on everything. But anyways, moving on. I think that might be it for the gaming news. We've covered quite a bit. We're going to talk a little bit about Infinity War because that is the movie of movies of all time.
Oh, wait, I have game news to tie into that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, please go ahead. I know this.
Fortnite has a Thanos mode in its Battle Royale right now. And it's not bad.
I heard it's pretty good.
His model looks really good.
Yeah, his model does look real good.
I'll be hopping into that as well this week. I'm looking forward to that. But speaking of Infinity War, if you have not seen Infinity War, it's best to turn off the podcast and see you back here in about 15, 20 minutes. But yeah, Infinity. For the rest of us, anybody else, stick around. Here we are. Okay, Infinity War. All right. I think all 4 of us saw it. It's probably a few times. A couple of us probably saw it multiple times.
Before we get hardcore into the actual movie,
your background is badass.
I know. I want to meet whoever the casting director, I guess, is who organizes the press tour groups, like for the talk shows. Have you guys watched any of those clips?
Oh my God, the Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland ones are so.
The Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland one is one of the only groups that has characters in the movie that actually interact with each other. A lot of the characters in those groups never meet in the movie. It's like,
really?
Yeah, like if you just go like look at the groups and stuff like that, it's like
Tom Holland and the Hulk. Mark Ruffalo.
It's like Drax and the people of Wakanda. He doesn't make it to
Wakanda. My favorite thing about the Marvel press tour is how quickly Chadwick Boseman got tired of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he in 3 months went from being like, "Yeah, man, Wakanda forever," to "Can I have my money now?"
And then on the flip side, what's his quote unquote rival's character's name? Like M'Baku?
Oh, Killmonger. Oh, M'Baku. Yeah,
M'Baku.
That dude loves it.
He's all over the place. Yeah,
he's a sizable lad.
Yeah, he's big.
Yeah,
But
he's a
no,
big man.
he seems genuinely enthusiastic about this stuff. Like he said, he read all the
Yeah.
comics, and then he's getting hardcore into it, and he wears like the swag and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's got his own gauntlet at home.
Did you ever see the question and answer for Black Panther, where they went asking like, what about this, like lore stuff to them, and it was they were asking Chadwick Boseman and they were asking Michael B. Jordan, who Chadwick Boseman doesn't give a fuck about any of that stuff, and Michael B. Jordan, who's obsessed with comic books and anime, who would give like Michael B. Jordan would give like the lengthy fucking dweeb response, and what's his name? Chadwick Boseman would be like, yeah, man, Black Panther's cool.
Black Panther's cool.
I'm sorry, but we were talking about Infinity Wars.
Yes, Infinity Wars. Well, there are many wars. Infinity War. Did you guys? Let's start off with the general. Did you guys like it? I loved it.
Cool. I thought it was good.
I thought it was okay.
It's no Iron Man 3, but it's pretty good.
It's no Iron Man 3.
I would say if you were asking me to rank all of the Marvel movies from best to worst, this is probably the worst of the best.
Oh, interesting.
But it's part 1 and part 2, so you can't really you can't really rate it, though, you know what I mean? Like you gotta wait for the back half. But I thought it was okay. I liked what they did. I liked the fact that like it was a movie about Thanos. Like, it was his movie. He was the protagonist of that movie.
Oh, he's so good.
Brolin,
he's so good. Like his subtle face stuff from the mocap is so good. His like, his inflection, how he's just a sad dad.
A sad dad.
I will say that there is one shot of him towards the end of the movie that it's the first time I've ever fully bought that a completely like CGI character was in a real frame of film.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a combination of like how good they do on his animations and like the soft focus that was on the camera, but it looked so believable for about 20 seconds. I was very surprised.
My suspension of disbelief is better. Like 35 minutes into Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm just thinking like, man, that's the best raccoon actor I've ever. Where'd they find him?
The flip side of that is that
Thanos
also has one of the most jarring shots ever. The moment from the trailer when Cap catches his hand.
Oh yeah,
so fake.
Yeah,
like there's like a half second off between the movement of Chris Evans catching whatever they were using and it being superimposed that it just looks so wrong.
It also has the worst CG of like it has the one worst instance of CG from any Marvel movie, and I watched all of them in the last month.
Which one?
It is when they're standing after the fact and the Hulkbuster helmet comes down.
God, that
like,
is
neck
you are so screwed. No, you look so wrong.
It looks like something I did in iMovie.
The lighting is off. The scale is off. It's
crazy because so much of the stuff looks so good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I went to. Sorry.
I was just gonna say there was a couple of moments that, like, I don't know if they were like during reshoots or something like that, but it felt like it was when Thor and Rocket were talking to each other on the ship. And like I don't know what it was, but it felt like they were using like hand cams instead of like on tripods and stuff like that. And there would be like it would be like mid-sentence, there would be like a very jarring like sort of jump in the footage, like further to the left or like further to the right when one of them were talking. And like I don't know, maybe it's just because like I work with like a lot of camera ops that maybe it's so hard at their job. But like, man, some of that stuff just like it can make you sick if you're like if you don't know like that it's happening and stuff like that too.
I'll tell you exactly what, because you do a lot of like live stuff. I do a lot of like edited stuff. I'll tell you exactly what it felt like. It felt like when you realize in the editing bay that you didn't get all of the shots you needed.
Yeah.
And you kind of need to Frankenstein it together.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, it almost looked like they were like on an edit of the movie and just forgot to put like camera stabilization in.
Yeah.
Like, and it just, man, some of those shots with Rocket, like close-ups, like his face was like misframed for like 3/4 of it. And then it just feels like the camera guy was like, fuck, well, I got to get back over here. Well, shit, now he moved left. And like, just, it was not great.
I'm going to give you a hint. He wasn't a real raccoon and they edited him in.
No way.
Shit, really?
You told me they used
I'm sorry, he wasn't a real
rabbit. Yeah.
They used the rabbit. We went off onto a wonderfully nerdy side quest, a sidetrack on this podcast talking about camera angles.
I just want to jump back to the point about how bad Ruffalo looks in the Hulkbuster suit. So I rewatched the first Avengers today.
Still
actually,
great.
Still really good. Ruffalo in the suit in Infinity War looks like Robert Downey Jr. in the suit, like the in helmet shots in Avengers. He looks so much better for like as Iron Man in the later movies, but Ruffalo for some reason looks like Stark does in the suit at every point.
So the trailer didn't have the Hulkbuster. They had Hulk instead of the Hulkbuster. So
yeah, because that's going to be in part 2 when they wind it back and they do the battle again.
And they do the battle all over again. And yeah, that's a good point. But
there's also a toy that I think they made for part 2. They put out of him bursting out of the suit as the Hulk.
Oh, is there? Okay. Yeah, I'm excited for that. But I mean, that's the rumor that he was going to burst out of there. So it is. Well, it does feel like they left some things for this sequel.
Well, that's something they wanted to do for Age of Ultron, was have Ultron catch up with Stark and grab him and have Ruffalo be in the suit, and then he breaks out of it and beats the shit out of Ultron in that. But they saved it. Like that was on the cutting room floor.
What if what if the trailer for the Infinity War Part 2 they just replay the same in trailers and just put a new title on it?
What if they just show it's just 90 seconds each time of just Hulk's big green dick?
Yeah.
And Thanos's. I've seen that on Twitter. I know.
Yeah, I've seen that on Twitter. That's been in my group chat every day since the movie came out.
Dong.
So
it's a really good Photoshop.
Are we going?
Let's go.
Balls open. We're going hardcore into spoilers here, right?
Do it. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Every death that happens pre the big moment, pre-snap, has an out.
You think so?
Yeah. So the 3 deaths are Loki, Gamora, and Vision, right?
Well, and Heimdall.
But okay, so Asgardians, Gamora, and Vision.
Oh,
all the Asgardians can be reborn because that's a thing in the comics that happens. Ragnarok happens, and then Asgard is reborn, and they all come back. So Loki, they spend an absurd amount of time during that first scene setting Loki up to be an Odin's son, like where he names himself Odin's son. Thanos calls him an Asgardian. He says, "I'm not an Asgardian, but I am the son of Odin." Blah 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 blah.
Oh, I just thought that was them completing his arc.
Yeah, no, I thought that as well. Yeah.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, they're setting him up to be an actual respected," because that's like name power is a thing in mythology, and now like everybody has accepted that he has a claim on the name Odin's son. So when in Thor 4 or whatever, when Asgard is reborn. Because that's what happens
in Idaho. I think in the comics, it's reborn in Idaho.
Yeah, in Ultimates.
Yeah.
Gamora. Gamora.
I think she's the only one with a definite 100% out.
You think she's out now?
No, I think she's the only one who's 150% going to come back exactly the same.
She comes back. She comes back just because, like the whole thing with Thanos is that he'll revel in his victory. He's finally done it, and then he'll realize that true love of family was the greatest prize all along.
No, I think that she's in the Soul Stone, right? She got thrown down into that ravine, which sucked her into the Soul Stone.
I think in an interview they said that when he's like in the when he goes and he he's in that orange area and he sees like little Gamora, that he's in Soul World, like he's in the stone.
See, I thought, but I figure his whole thing is that like he did it. And to get the Soul Stone, like he had to sacrifice the only thing he ever loved, and that'll get to him now that his mission's done. He'll be like, "Fuck it, I want her back," and he'll get gems or whatever and turn back time, and that's where the time travel play will come in because he'd rather have her alive than.
Nah, man, time's gonna come from fucking what's his name, from Hank Pym.
Hank Pym. You don't think
because they're doing the quantum thing? Because the quantum thing, they said it doesn't affect like your outside time and space, and then in the set photos for Avengers 4, they all have these. They all have these hand things, but like everyone else is strapped to their hand with leather straps, and Ant-Man's is built into his suit.
Yeah, and there are like those leaked photos of Ant-Man in the Chitauri fight from Avengers 1.
Yeah, and like Tony has like the shield outfit.
Yeah,
And there are
And
all
then,
the there's the leak of the original Captain America in his original suit from like the 1940s.
Yeah. Well, they hired people for like 8 different scenes. They hired someone for like a 60s scene, a 40s scene. There's like another scene we didn't see from the trailer where someone who's not Heimdall has his sword, which is how I knew he was gonna die.
Yeah. And then Vision's a robot, and they spend like 5 minutes in that movie establishing that removing the mind gem from him with all the other personalities means he could still probably be himself, and then the mind gem gets pulled out, and so they'll just rebuild him because he's a robot.
I'm cool with that though, because like when they pull it out of him, he turns gray, which is like a throwback to like a comic where he gets fucking killed and brought back, and he's colorless, but he's different. It's like kind of like the death changes a man type thing.
Yeah,
that I'm cool with, because if they change that character dynamic,
and I mean, like, it's comic books, so everybody dying and coming back makes sense. It's just I've seen the movie once, and all 3 of the deaths pre-snap. I was just, or well, 3 if you know as Guardians. I was just like, every single one of none of these matter. Like
my favorite thing.
They'll all come back. It's fine.
My favorite thing was them trying to make the Spider-Man the emotional crux when we have a new movie with him next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the only confirmed movies.
Well, and then Black Panther 2 has been confirmed as well. So
yeah.
My big hope was that they'll pull the bait and switch, and Spider-Man Homecoming 2 or whatever will be Miles Morales instead of Peter Parker.
I mean, they have the animated film is coming out this week or this year in December. So Miles Morales animated film.
Yo, who's dying?
Who's dying? Captain America and Tony Stark.
Nah, I think Tony Stark's gonna get broken, and he's just gonna become like the occasional what's his name, like Nick Fury type dude.
No, so I think what's really kind of interesting is that they make a big deal about that. One of the opening scenes is Tony saying,
"Yeah, they're gonna kill." Like I was saying this for months, they're gonna kill Pepper to break him.
I don't think so. I think they're going to kill him because he had the dream and he's ready to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Nah, see, here's another reason is because because of how film works. Is the same reason. The same reason why Rhodey is safe is because he almost died once. Tony has now almost died. They gave you the thing of thinking he's going to die, so you can't do the like, especially in a mainstream movie, you can't pull the punch once and then do it again.
So, do you think that we'll actually have some confirmed like actual deaths after?
I think Cap is dead as fuck.
Yeah,
I think I found it interesting that for years at this point, Chris Evans has been saying like, yeah, it's doing these movies has been really fun, but I'm ready to go. And then right around the time they signed on Sebastian Stan for that 6-picture deal, all of a sudden he's just like, no, I mean, I like doing it, and I'll keep doing it, and I just gotta talk to Marvel about it. I'll keep doing it. It's really fun. It's like now I'm at the point where I think they kill Cap and then they make Bucky the new Cap for the.
I don't think so. I think he stays White Wolf.
Yeah, I think Falcon's going to turn into Cap.
I hate the White Wolf thing. I hate it so fucking much.
So in the comics, White Wolf is like Black Panther's. He's basically a bad guy.
He's Wakanda, and he grows up in Wakanda, and he has a relationship there. He's not just a fucking dude that shows up.
Yeah. One of the theories that I've heard that I think is probably what's going to happen is everybody that disappears at the end, or turns into dust or whatever. That was like the new Avengers, as opposed to like the old Avengers, which are still alive. And I guess there's in one of the comic book lines, Tony Stark. Since he needs to know everything and needs to figure out everything, meets Doctor Strange's character and goes, okay, so fucking magic's real. I need to learn everything about magic. And he ends up becoming the Sorcerer Supreme, I guess, at some point. And the theory that I heard is probably that he learns all this magic and somehow trades, because the whole movie mentions about like, we don't trade lives. But it's going to end up with Tony Stark like trading the old Avengers' lives for the new Avengers' lives.
I bet. I bet it's something along those lines. Except it's him trading his own life for everybody else.
There's that possibility too.
I think they're going to keep Tony alive, because even just so they can, because it's Disney and they want to make it so they could still sell different toys of Iron Man suits.
That's true. I mean, that is a massive toy seller. Is the
Iron Man is the best-selling Marvel toy.
Are we all in agreement that Black Panther's sister is who becomes Iron Man after?
Shuri?
Yeah, because they've already like
Yep.
sort of hinted at it twice. Because she's
I mean,
used
she's
those little
basically in
arm
the
blaster
comic,
gauntlets.
right? She's who's the girl in the comic that becomes
I think she's just the girl in the comic, just as like some teenager
so
from Brooklyn, I think, right, or
Okay.
from New York. But like they've kind of like with those like arm blasty gauntlets, they even gave her like an upgraded pair in Infinity War. Like, part of me is like, that seems a little foreshadowy. And plus, she's super smart with science, probably more so than Tony.
Mhm.
That's just like that's just the character though. It's always been that way.
But yeah, I could totally see instead of them bringing in Riri, it was Riri. That's who it was. Riri in the comics. That would be. I could see them bringing Shuri in. That would be fantastic. Actually, make her the new Iron Man. She already has the nano suit figured out that Tony does. So
I think if Iron Man dies, he's dead.
yeah, I think if he dies, he's dead, and if Cap dies, he's dead.
I think if Iron Man dies, the character of Iron Man.
Oh, the character of Iron Man is dead. Well, yeah, I don't think she would be called Iron Man. I think there would be a fun joke she would say, like, "Oh, what am I, Iron Man now?" And then her brother's like, "No, you're not Iron Man. Like, you're whatever." And she's like, "Oh yeah, I like that." And then that's whatever she is.
Mhm.
Wow, what was the other thing?
I was gonna say I did. You brought up a good point. Something I've been mulling over. I did like that the original Avengers are all basically still alive, right?
Yeah, man.
All of them. As far as we know, they all survived.
Yeah, we don't know anything about Hawkeye yet, but the rest.
Oh, he's gonna be fucking
Hawkeye.
Ronin. That's what it's gonna be. He's gonna have swords, and it's gonna be awesome.
The other thing that I haven't heard any theories about, but like I almost wonder, is there so many times in that movie that they talk about like he can just do it with a snap of his fingers, and then they snap. And I'm not talking about like the final when he does it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like one of those like the story from the Bible. It's like you'll betray me before the crow crows 3 times or whatever. And there was like 3 snaps before he finally snaps at the end and then does it. And all of those characters, there's no reason to act, with the snap of his fingers, there's no reason to actually snap while you're saying that.
But it looks cool.
But it looks cool, but it also looks cool in the way that filming things looks cool and is clearly an indication of something that happens in the future. And it's not just because he snaps and then it takes care of it. Like that, like, I don't know, the framing of all those shots made me go, as somebody who films things, like, I don't know, dog, like, you seem to make it a pretty clear point that we're snapping a whole bunch. Why are we snapping?
Like when Gamora does it, it's like, okay, I could...
She brings her hand up by her face and does it like above her head.
But I could maybe believe that she does it because like Thanos knew that he would actually have to do something with the gauntlet, and he's probably talked about it in front of her. Like
the gauntlet has to close in order to function.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, so they don't do a job.
He doesn't do the time thing with closing his hand.
He doesn't, but I think to do everything all at once, he needs to close the gauntlet. But they don't make a point of that because that's the only way he can actually affect everything.
So did you guys?
That's why they keep his hand open the entire time, right?
Yeah.
With
like when he throws the thing, it's like, don't let him close his hand, and then he throws the cool cape at him.
Did you guys find it weird at all that? Do you remember at the end of Avengers 1, with the Thanos reveal when there's a line of dialogue or something like that? Where it's like, to mess with the Earth is to court death, and then Thanos' face turn around and he's grinning.
Yeah.
Thanos' thing in the comics is always he's literally courting death. Yeah. So did you ever did it seem weird at all that Thanos in this was not doing that? Like he had an actual
I think when they made that, they didn't actually really believe it would get this far.
Oh yeah, the original You mean in the first Avengers film?
When they were like making the first Avengers, I don't think they realized they were still going to be making it this far. And they would have this arc to actually come to fruition.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, this. I think it really accelerated the last 2 years with. I think it was everything essentially post Civil War. They decided, holy shit, we actually have to get this thing rolling. And
once we came to the 3 movie a year cycle.
Yeah. They had to get that story going, and I think that worked with surprisingly well. I mean, I don't know surprisingly well, but it worked really well. Like Ragnarok was the fantastic lead-in into this film. I mean, it's the direct lead-in into this movie.
I think Thor dies in the next one. I think he's out.
I had this strange feeling that Thor gets a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet, and then the team has to court Thanos to to help get the gauntlet off of Thor.
I hope in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, Nebula takes the gauntlet, and I hope that happens.
Like everybody seems to get their hands on the gauntlet in the
but like that's how it ends in
Yeah.
Infinity Gauntlet. She takes it and she fucks him up, and like I hope that like something similar happens because she's been like there's no real reason to keep her around.
Do we?
In every movie, she's being abused. Like that's
Yeah.
that's her character.
No.
It's like, hey, how can we abuse her in this one?
And she's a character that no one cares about.
No.
Do we?
Well,
Do we have any cool YouTube theories? You know, YouTube thumbnail with a circle around Captain America's eye with an arrow pointing at it. What does this mean?
I will say I love that they took out Thor's eye only to give him a new one.
Yeah,
almost
take it out
immediately.
but they took out a poop eye.
He just gets
a poop eye.
He
Right?
gets it back in. Yeah, there's like a 2-second joke, and then he just has 2 eyes. Like, come on.
Cap better get a better weapon than those little like shovels he's got attached to his like forearms right now.
Oh, he's gonna get the shield
I hate
back,
those
right?
things. Yeah, of course. But
I was-
he was like, they were like, get him a shield, and it's like, yeah, get him a shield, and then they get to the battlefield, and he's like, I got pincers, and you're like, what the hell?
I was
There's
so
no
hoping
shield.
that they would give him the hard light shield that he has at one point.
What I will say is I can't wait for all of our theories to be put to rest when the toys come out 3 months before the movie.
And ruin everything.
Our Tom Holland opens his dumb mouth about something.
It was
Because
Ruffalo. It was
every-
actually Ruffalo.
Oh
that
yeah,
screwed up.
Ruffalo was too. not
Every
very great, but-
movie for me has been spoiled by fucking toys.
Yeah. Yep.
By Lego sets or by fucking like Marvel.
Those things have to come out quickly so they could, begin the marketing. What's really going to be interesting is the Spider-Man Homecoming marketing, because that movie is 2 months after Infinity War 2, and they need to start that like
Yeah.
right. They
They'll
need to
probably
start that
age
around
it like
Christmas
a
time.
year, right?
What's that?
They'll probably push it forward like a year, like the time, not like the actual movie time, but like the story will probably take place like at least a year after.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think,
I don't think they're gonna.
Well, isn't that what Ant-Man and the Wasp was a prequel to Infinity War? Like, is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to, because like when they start quote unquote phase 4, it behests
New
them to
Avengers?
push it forward immediately. Yeah.
Oh, I think it would be hysterical if, like, the Spider-Man movie after the next Infinity War is like the day he gets back from whatever, and they're
God,
like,
that'd be awesome.
they're like, Peter, where have you been? And he's like, the internship. I was gone for like a month.
Oh,
And
it
it's
was
like,
so
oh,
crazy.
okay.
I was
Yeah.
working for Mr. Stark, and it
Yeah.
was a super cool time. Anyway, hey, what's been going on over here?
Yeah, what's been happening over here in New York? You guys okay? That alien ship was like really weird like a month ago, right? Like,
I can't
One
believe
that
I
didn't
missed it.
happen just
Definitely didn't go into
disappeared.
space or anything like that.
yeah.
So I will say that they did a pretty good job of keeping this the story, the plot secret for folks. I mean, we kind of as geeks knew exactly what was going to happen because we knew it was a 2-parter. We knew that it was going to end horribly for humanity at the end. Although I have a bone to pick with folks who come up with the stupid idea that if Thanos could save,
Why didn't you just make food?
why didn't he double food? Well, because it's fucking greedier. Then it would make it even worse if he just doubled up the resources.
Also, he's a fucking lunatic who has
Yeah.
this plan because he went nuts after his
he's
planet.
a libertarian, is what you're saying, right?
It's the same people who are like, why didn't Doctor Strange just use the stone to turn back time on his hands and make them good? I'm like, because it wouldn't be a movie then. Like, there would be no reason for anything to happen.
That's not how it
And-
works.
Because they have to make toys.
Yeah.
Can I ask? Sorry. What after the movie and all that stuff? When you guys were leaving the theater, was it like everybody was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah!" Like, what a great
No,
movie.
it was quiet.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
nice.
It was the first time I've ever left a theater thinking I was just at a funeral for somebody.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, and
My
no
girl-
one said a word. I'm making jokes on the way out, and I was like, I felt very inappropriate.
Imagine
Like,
Thanos
girlfriend,
is nuts. Yeah, what?
My girlfriend and I came home, we drove silently in the car, and then we just sat in our bedroom for like 30 minutes talking to each other.
It were a lot of. It was dead silent leaving the theater. There was. I went the third time I went to see it. Somebody like audibly started weeping when I think it was when Spider-Man bit the dust. There was a younger kid who lost it, which was kind of sad to see. Although, I mean, that was apparently like a slightly improvised scene with Tom Holland.
Is he a big Doctor? Is he a big Doctor Who fan?
He might be. He might be a big Doctor Who fan because I guess it was a nod to. From what I read online, it was that nod to Doctor Who. So there was a kid who just started like freaking out, weeping a couple seats over to my left or something. But that Red Skull scene was actually pretty cool. Did not expect that, and I got to give it up to Hugo Weaving, who does not want to do any more fantasy stuff. So it wasn't him, but it was Ross Marquand from the Walking Dead.
So
who did a better Hugo Weaving than Hugo Weaving did? Hugo Weaving.
Do you think that's how they bring Red Skull back?
I hate it because he doesn't have feet.
Yeah, he had no feet. No, I don't think they're bringing Red
He
Skull
ain't got
back.
no feet.
Because I mean, like, you know, that's how they could do it. Like, he was the Guardian, and now the stone's gone, and now he gets to come back as Red Skull, the same age, back to Earth in the modern day, just like all of the other characters from World War II.
I mean, you could, but
you just wanted a reason for people in the theater like mine to literally yell, "Yo, what the fuck?"
yeah, that everybody did that.
I rewatched fucking the first Captain America movie the other day too. Like,
the first 45 minutes of that are really good.
Yeah, the scene where where Red Skull melts himself when he grabs the Tesseract.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember it beaming him into space.
At the very end, it does.
Yeah, I don't remember that. And then I watched that scene. I was like, it literally opens up to space and a fucking beam shoots into space. I don't remember that at all.
It's they put they did a great job of putting all these little threads in each of these each of the films, as they could have been an out early on where they thought, shit, maybe we could bring the Red Skull back if he gets beamed into space, and then later on they said, let's bring him back in the Infinity Gauntlet and tie that in there. They did look like they went through a lot of these little open threads and use the Infinity Gauntlet as sort of a way to kind of close some of these off. I liked it. I fucking love this MILF. This MILF. I love this film.
Same.
Well, I said the anorexia. Wow, what is wrong with me?
Wow.
I am tired, man. I can't speak. I can't do anything. I need more coffee. The 3 times I've seen. I'm going to go again probably this weekend. I think on Saturday I'm already primed to go for a 4th time. This is the only film I'll ever see more than 3 times in a theater, or that I've ever seen more than 3 times in the theater. So I'm kind of stoked for that. But
I don't think
clearly someone didn't get to experience Hot Tub Time Machine the right way.
No, that's true. 1 or 2. Yeah, I'm kind of excited. What do you guys predictions for the name, the title of the next one? I've heard a few things. You think it's just gonna be called the Infinity Gauntlet? Infinity Gauntlet again, or just Infinity Gauntlet?
It's just Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it that they haven't revealed the name, right? Because it's like a spoiler.
No, I think they said they didn't reveal it because they wanted to focus. Actually, recently they said they didn't reveal it because they wanted to focus on Infinity War. Because if they had said the name of the second one, then people would be wondering more about that.
I don't think
because there's still 2 movies.
Yeah, I don't think they've decided on the name either. Like, I don't think they're 100%, because this was originally supposed to be Infinity War Part 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was all that backlash because it was right around when all of those movies were announcing they were going to be 2-parters.
Justice League.
Do you remember? You fucking remember when they changed the name and they're like, oh yeah, so it's Infinity War and then Avengers 4, and guess Infinity 4 is not Part 1.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we saw it's absolutely fucking part 1.
And then there's all
you can't film them back to back and not make it a Part 1.
There's all these think pieces out there right now from people praising the movie, and then they're like, I can't believe they kept it hidden from us that this was a 2-parter movie. Like, that's incredible.
No, they didn't.
Like,
no one kept
What was that New York Times guy who wrote the opinion piece?
They barely introduce characters.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They just expect you to know who they are.
Yeah. Well, we all do.
my dude. This is movie 20.
Have you not
That's
seen?
like saying, like, oh, so I
movies?
watched the season finale of Breaking Bad. I didn't understand who anyone is. Who is Walter White? Why should I care about him?
Yeah. Oh, so I'm supposed to just walk into the 4th Fast and the Furious movie and know who Dom is.
I skipped halfway through the Bible, and I'm supposed to know that God created the earth in 7 days? What's up with that?
How am I supposed to know about the ethos of Dominic Toretto?
Yeah.
Like,
what kind of a man is he? What does he think about family? I just don't know.
why are his muscles so big?
So did you guys see that tweet from James Gunn
About the dad thing?
No, it's
that was pretty badass.
James Gunn tweets a lot about this stuff, but he's got one that he tweeted earlier today, and it's just I guess it might have been part of a Q&A session, but a couple of things he said was Adam Warlock will not be in Avengers 4.
Nah, he said he's not going to be in until Guardians 3.
Guardians Volume 3 will be set after Avengers 4.
Sure. That's where they're going to be hunting for Gamora in the afterlife.
And yes, all of the Guardians now understand Groot.
No, okay,
Yeah.
Good. I kind of figured that because it seemed like they were responding to him all pretty well in this film. So
I'll tell you what I really appreciate is that James Gunn always dresses like a guy who just got divorced and is trying to find an apartment and is living out of a hotel.
that's awesome.
He's always wearing like an oversized graphic tee that's like faded and shitty, and like dad jeans, and like
Shout
a
out
pair
to
of New
James Gunn,
Balances.
who is an avid listener of this podcast.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Or he's about to release his hot new indie game on stage.
At the Microsoft conference.
Yeah.
He's always got a pair of old newbies.
His Twitter picture is him wearing a leather coat and a branded T-shirt.
Yeah, it's fair. Hey guys, I know I'm the director of Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, but check out my new indie game, Over
He looks like he put some fucking some like matte pomade in his hair, but it was like 3 days ago and he just hasn't washed it out yet. He just kind of riding that wave.
It looks like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a lovely
God,
photo of him with a raccoon.
Yeah, that's true. With the rabbit. Any more comments, thoughts on Infinity War?
I like that he called Thanos' chin a nutsack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did. I felt like they did a really good job of mixing all the different styles of films. Like you had the spy heist of Captain America, you had the space pirate comedy of Guardians, and they all seemed to work really well together.
Well, they worked really well because they basically split them into mini movies. Like you had the cast of characters that was dealing with the stuff that ended up on Titan, which was Iron Man and Strange and Spider-Man, and that was all shot and self-contained and like had its own unique color palette. And then you had Thor and the Guardians, and that was all self-contained, and like that was all like dark and black and blue and stuff like that. And then you had the stuff on Earth, which was everybody else, and that was all
greens
greens and bright sunlight and well lit and all that stuff. And it was all self-contained right up until the end. Even the fights, you had basically three big huge climaxes. You had Thor building Stormbreaker. You had the fight on Titan between all of them, which was a hell of a fight against Thanos anyway. And then you had the fight on Earth in Wakanda against Thanos, and like it was three mini movies basically, which was really well done.
One thing I want to touch on is that Ebony Maw is really cool.
Yeah, he was pretty cool.
He's really cool, just walking around being all preachy and shit. He looks really cool.
He looks like cool. I do appreciate that Marvel found a use for all the Warcraft 3D CGI models, and actually was able to.
Oh, did you see Warcraft?
Yeah,
I saw it at E3.
Oh god!
Yeah, how about?
Oh, that's right. They had it that year. Yeah.
There's a theater in LA Live. And that has D-Box, so I saw it there.
I remember you doing that.
How about that EverQuest character, which was one of Thanos' like handlers or whatever?
Oh, the big guys?
Handlers.
No, the girl with like the blue face paint and the horns.
Oh.
I as soon as she came on screen, I was
the fucking goblin.
Yeah, as soon as she came on screen, I was like, "Oh man, somebody's EverQuest character making a comeback in 2018."
I'm glad they also had the dude from Styx, Master of Shadows, or whatever it was, being the guy who was trying to steal Vision.
Yeah.
And,
did anybody else bust up laughing when Peter Dinklage came on screen?
When Peter Dinklage spoke like this on screen.
He's like an 8-foot tall dwarf, and I just lost it in the theater. I thought that was hysterical.
The Arrested Development Easter egg.
They put a lot more, I guess, in the film that they're gonna hopefully reveal slowly.
I can't do anything with my hands.
I pre-ordered the Steelbook today.
Oh, nice. I think
that went up, and those usually sell out. So,
did Best Buy or Amazon?
Best Buy has the exclusive Steelbooks. They're like they're the only Steelbook place in the game anymore.
Okay.
Especially with Disney.
Oh,
so
okay.
If you want the Black Panther one, they still have them, and it comes out next week.
Did any of you manage to catch? I think was the only real practical explosion in the movie.
Which one?
It was during the final battle when War Machine does the carpet bomb flyby right along the barrier.
Oh yeah, that was
that was a practical explosion, and I wouldn't have ever noticed it, except it looks so much better than the CGI explosion. I was like, oh.
It's kind of amazing how much CGI has essentially completely taken over the industry. I will say the part that was jarring to me, not counting the Ruffalo and his the shrunken head in the suit, but when Gamora is on Romildir talking to Thanos, and she's explaining to him how the universe has finally played its cruel.
Oh yeah, Vormir.
Vormir, thank you. As so that was all done in front of a green screen, and because her face is green paint, every time the wind would kick her hair back from her face, like half of her face would disappear, like the edges would get all blurry, and she would go out of focus real quick. And I thought, holy shit, that was one thing they didn't quite realize wasn't working so well with the wind.
That shit around, put a blue screen up. Come on, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
Day one stuff.
Day one stuff. Well, let's finish up with the Infinity War talk. We've been chatting for about 45 minutes on this bish. Any more final thoughts? Good movie, obviously, except for Aaron thinks it was okay.
I thought it was okay. I'm looking forward to part 2.
Yep. Sweet.
Yeah, it's coming back.
The Avengers train is going to keep rolling into E3 because doesn't Square Enix have an Avengers project?
They do.
Yes. Yep. And one of the rumors that they'll be showing that. What's that?
When they have a press conference, we know they're not going to be showing off Final Fantasy VII because they just started restaffing for it.
Yeah.
They haven't even restarted working on it because the first part of it was done horribly.
I saw someone say, "Oh yeah, they're going to show it and it's going to come out early 2019." I'm like, "You're out of your fucking mind."
You're out of your goddamn mind.
In Thanos is 2019. We have to rewind this shit. They need the stones to fix that one. Yeah, we'll do our prediction cast. Maybe the next podcast will be a good one to do the other.
Hell yeah.
But other than that, you can find us at sidequesting.com, at sidequesting on the Twitters, sidequesting. I think it's sidequesting TV on the Twitch and on YouTube and all that fun stuff. You can find me personally in your shadows at Dolly Demovsky all over the place. Where can we find you, Tom?
At that Tom Johnson, pretty much everywhere.
Where can we find you, Aaron? Show us the.
You got me right here. See this? In beautiful 180p. Got all my info.
The audio people can't see that though.
Yeah, that's fine. They can check the video. No, you can find me. You can find me at Twitter at ScrattyBones. You can find me at Twitch at ScrattyBones. You can find me on SideQuesting occasionally. I don't think I've written anything in a while.
We'll have to get you to review something here. Sam, where can we sometimes find you?
You can find me on Twitter at SamDI79. And my most recent tweet that isn't a picture of my cat's balls or a retweet of that we were doing this was, with that being said, Bruce Willis is dead the whole time. And that was on May 1st, 2018. So hot, relevant tweets. Stay tuned. They'll only get hotter and more relevant as time goes on.
Excellent. All right, everybody. We'll see you in the next side quest. Peace.
Be out.
Bye, friends.
Bye.